Salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite content creators here on BookTube and some of the tropes that remind me of them. So if you're looking for more BookTube channels to follow, or you're looking for channels that have good recommendations for your favorite tropes, then I got you. Really excited to film this video. It's kind of specific. So if you guys have been watching my channel, I do this thing called Trope Week. It's a series that I do on my channel. I normally do it like around February or December, like somewhere around the holidays, where I take a whole week and I post back-to-back videos, and I pick like a very specific subgenre or trope in romance and give you guys a bunch of recommendations. I have a whole playlist and it's like 30 plus videos of like very specific tropes. I am planning on doing that series again on my channel and bringing it back, and I was thinking of tropes to add to the series that I hadn't done before, and every time that I thought of a trope, I would think of a booktuber. And I would want to like message them and be like, hey, what books do you recommend? I watch their videos and see what they're recommending to see if like I needed to read more of that subgenre. No, I just love supporting other content creators, so I thought it would be fun to film a video where I talk about some of my favorite booktubers, but also talk about the tropes that remind me of them. So if you're not already following them and you like that similar trope, you know that their channel has good recommendations. Does that make sense? That's the theme of the video, so hopefully it makes sense. I will be bringing Trope Week back, like I said, so if there's a specific trope that you want me to do that I haven't done already, let me know down below, or even a trope that you want me to revisit, because it's been some years since I've visited some of those tropes. So honestly, these are in no particular order. I kind of just wrote these on my notes really quickly. I will talk about the booktuber and then what trope reminds me of them. So let's just get started. The very first booktuber I want to talk about is Jen from the book Refuge. Jen is honestly the whole reason that I had the Trope Week concept in general. She is a plethora of information when it comes to the romance community. Like literally, this girl reads so much, every subgenre. She has the best recommendations. Like think of a trope and I guarantee you she has a video on it. Like, she's read everything truly, but when I think of Jen, I always think of Mafia romances. I, for the very longest time, was not a fan of Mafia romances. I kind of like wrote off the subgenre and thought like I didn't like it. And Jen, along with some other booktubers, have hosted the Mafia readathon, where they read a bunch of Mafia romances. And I kind of like asked her for some recommendations, and she sent me this huge list. And it's like the sole reason that I really got into reading Sophie Lark, who has quickly become one of my favorite authors ever. So yeah, whenever I think of Jen, I always think of Mafia romances. So if you're beginning to the genre and want like tons of recommendations, go follow her. This is a trope that I'm actually starting to love. Okay, for the longest time, I said that I do not like surprise pregnancy, surprise baby, accidental pregnancy. Like it was not my favorite trope ever, and I honestly kind of avoided it. But I don't know, recently I've kind of liked it. I've read so many recently that have been so good. Different dynamic, because our characters not only have to go through like their personal growth and the growth in the relationship and figure out how they're going to operate as a couple, but they also have to figure out how they're going to operate as parents. Like, I actually don't mind the surprise pregnancy trope. It's an underrated trope for sure. And the one YouTuber that I know also loves this trope and gives the best recommendations is Sam from Sam Reads a Little. I honestly love Sam and her content. She is so sweet and I love watching her recommendation videos. So if you are someone who actually likes the surprise pregnancy trope, go follow her channel. All right. You guys know me. You know me. I love messy romances, okay? I love when romances are dramatic, when they're like a telenovela. You know what I mean? Like I want all the drama, all the plot twists. Like a soft, sweet romance every once in a while. But sometimes I'm in the mood for like a gritty, dark romance that like pushes the boundaries over your typical happily ever after in your typical relationship. You know that really delivers on the dark, messy romance is Micaiah from Oh Hey It's Micaiah. Literally love her channel to pieces. She uploaded a video recently where she recommended like romances with the cheating trope, and like to be honest, that's not a trope that I typically gravitate towards, but I read every single book that she recommended. Yes, I did. And did I enjoy every book? I did. Like, she recommends books that are so different, and they're the type of romance books that like put you on a journey. Love it. I love it. Whenever I want something wild and messy and extravagant, I go to her channel. Love her videos so much. Okay. A trope that I am not overly familiar with, and I was actually just watching her recommendations for, is biker MC romances. Like, this is a subgenre that like I said, I'm not very familiar with, but whenever I think about it, I think about Tori from It's a Novel Life. So this picture on Instagram where she's like posing on a bike, sexy, gorgeous, beautiful, and she gives the best recommendations ever. I got to meet some of these booktubers in person, and Tori was one of them, and she is so lovely and so wonderful. All of these ladies are just as lovely as they are in their videos, as they are in person. Definitely need to read more biker MC romances, but if that's a trope you really love, Tori is your girl. This next one is not necessarily a trope per se, it's more so a theme in romance, and that is sweepingly romantic books. So that when you think of them, it's just romance that gives you that butterfly feeling in your stomach, type of romance that sets your standards so high and people make movies about, and it's just like sweeping and dramatic and beautifully written and all about like the connection between the characters. I always think of Crystal when I think of that type of romance. I'm thinking of like sweepingly romantic books like Beverly Jenkins and historical romances and things like that. Crystal and I have very similar reading tastes, and the reason I love watching her videos so much is the way she loves romance. You can tell she has a genuine love. I mean, all of these girls do, but like she is just in love with the genre, and the way she talks about books is so passionate that it makes you immediately want to read them. I am someone who likes steaming my books, but Crystal, when she recommends books, she really looks between the connection between the characters, like that emotional bond, almost like a soulmate type of vibe. Those are the books that she normally gravitates towards and recommends, and I have never, ever, ever, ever read one of her recommendations that I didn't like. Never. She recommends top tier books, and she also has a historic romance book club with Jen from the Book Refuge. So if you want to join a book club, join their book club because they have some really awesome historical romance books. Alright, so the next trope in romance is groveling romances, okay? This is usually when a hero fucks shit up and has to come back and grovel. You know what I mean? He has to prove that he is worthy of our heroine's love. He has to prove that he's a different man. He has to give us that grovel. And when I think of that trope, I think of Miss Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. Literally on the planet. She also reads so many different subgenres and tropes, but she loves a good groveling romance and has the best recommendations for this trope. Honestly, just go follow her. She's lovely. Next is historic romances in general. It's not necessarily a trope. And for this one, I think of the holy trinity of BookTube. And that is Jessica from Peace Love Books, Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers, and Lisa from Markably Lisa. These three ladies created the historical romance readathon a couple years ago. And they continue to like bring it back, which I love because it's my favorite readathon. And that readathon is actually what made me start my channel and fall in love with romances. I read Again the Magic by Lisa Kleypas, you know, like my favorite book of all time. You know the one that I talk about literally all the time. I read that book because of this readathon and because of these ladies. So whenever I think of historic romance, I think of them. Next is alien romances, and the literal encyclopedia when it comes to alien and monster romances is Avery. It's Avery. Like, she is an actual encyclopedia when it comes to Ruby Dixon. I swear that girl has read every single book that Ruby Dixon has ever come out with. So if you're someone who loves alien romances, she will give you the most obscure titles, like honestly, and in the best way, like titles I've never heard from, recommendations from Kindle Unlimited that I've never seen, never even heard anyone talking about, and she's got you. She has the best alien romances ever. I really love Avery's channel also because she does this series on her channels where she talks about like ebooks that she's downloaded, and she does ebook hauls, free ebook hauls of books that she got for free and downloaded onto her Kindle with plots that sound interesting. And anytime I watch those videos on my laptop and I have my Kindle like ready to go, ready to download everything that she recommends. So I love Avery for her alien romance recommendations, her monster romance recommendations, and then also her Kindle Unlimited recommendations. So love you, Avery. Next is a subgenre that's not romance, and it's actually cozy mysteries. So I do also have a cozy mystery book club, shameless plug. This is a seasonal book club where we pick a cozy mystery every season, so like fall, winter, spring, summer. So we read books quarterly. The entire reason that I discovered this genre and why I fell in love with it was because of Spencer from Intentionally Bookish. I actually host that book club together, so of course I'm going to think of her when I think of cozy mysteries. She can recommend a cozy mystery for any type of trope. You want a baking cozy mystery? She got you. You want a magical cozy mystery? She's got you. You want a small town cozy mystery? She got you. So many videos where she talks about new releases, old releases, everything in between. The cozy mystery queen is Spencer. Those were just a couple of booktubers and tropes that remind me of them. So if you like any of those tropes, I guarantee you will like the booktuber that I mentioned. In general, go follow all of them, okay? I'm sure you already have because they're amazing. Anyways, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!